War of the Colossal Beast. We're getting somewhere. This is a sequel to the classic film, The Colossal Man. Well, it wasn't classic, it sucked. Now the Colossal Man looks like this. That's what happens when you have a Hoover Dam, apparently. Your skull becomes visible to the naked eye. This is incredibly goofy. Also, he makes the dumbest sound ever now. So, if you somewhat enjoyed the first movie, you'll be heavily disappointed with the sequel. The film is much shorter and has a lot less going on as well. Barely going over an hour, it's about the fact that the Colossal Man survived his fall, and now he's in Mexico, kind of. And now the Colossal Man's sister wants to find him, even though in the first movie he said he had no family, but now he has a sister who loves him very dearly, but she was not in the first movie at all. They feed him crappy food here to make him go to sleep. And then they try to running away, and the one guy falls over for no reason, just stays there. I don't know what the hell happened to him. And then he gets crushed, I think? Like, it fades to black. I don't know what's going on here. Why does this guy trip randomly? There's something there to trip over, and I know the monster falls asleep because of the thing they're feeding him, but, like, why does he lay there to let the monster fall on him? It's never mentioned that, in fact, that guy dies or anything. That just happens. Like, what? You gotta have more context than that! There's actually a good chunk of the movie where the guy has a flashback to the previous events of the last film, which is so shameless. It's not like this movie came out any time later than the original film. It came out like less than a year later, so it's not like people would have forgotten about the last movie. But no, for like at least 15 or 20 minutes, it's just a highlight reel. Like, remember these scenes from the last movie? It's like, yeah, I just saw the fucking movie. So in this film, they just have him chained up the entire time, and that's it. Since he doesn't have any consciousness anymore, really. There's no, like, any psychological element to it, other than his random flashback to the last film. It's just a giant man who has a skull showing, and that's it. Oh, and by the way, guess what? He escapes. So somehow, like I said, I don't know how it's so hard to find these giant men, but apparently in this universe, finding a 50-foot bald man who has a skull showing and wearing a diaper is so hard to find. Then there's these dumb kids who are like, yeah, let's look at the searchlights. I know our teacher's calling for us, but let's just sit out here. I like you a lot. It's like so random. Like, who the fuck are these kids? This randomly, like, they're like the main characters for like 10 minutes of the film. And then there's like, oh, that's my daughter. Like, what the fuck's going on here? Where the fuck does this come from? Oh, it's to showcase that the Colossal Man is picking up the bus, and those two kids were on the bus. But that scene doesn't last very long. So yeah, the last second, he's like, oh yeah, I remember who I am, so I'm gonna kill myself. For some reason, they put a little bit of color on the screen for the electrocution scene, which is very weird. It's just like, okay, what was the point of doing that? Especially since it's so inconsistent with how they colored it. Like, you can tell that it was not consistent at all by the use of colors or the light. Oh, and apparently he just disappears somehow, and then the end, I guess. Bye. This film sucks. It's mostly just people talking in a room about stuff that's not even interesting to begin with. It's what you call a bunch of setup with very little to none payoff. He even contradicts the first movie by having, like, him have a family member, who, even though he claimed he didn't have a family in the last film. The only character that's noteworthy is his sister. I don't even know the other characters, because they just throw in so many random people here, so who the fuck gives a shit? Like, if you're going to have, like, mostly focus on generic human guys, you gotta at least make them interesting or stand out, but if I don't remember any of them other than the sister, or the two random kids, then you failed miserably. There's nothing thought-provoking about this film compared to the original. It had something going on with that regard. This actually makes me wish I was watching the original, which isn't even a good film. The only good thing about this film is that it's mercifully short, only clocking in an hour and 9 minutes. So it goes by in a flash, but in that time, there's like nothing happening. If you're looking for a 50s B-movie, stay far away from the War of the Colossal Beast. I don't even get the title. One, there is no fucking war. What war? He doesn't even wage a war. He just walks around at the end and picks up a bus. That's not a fucking war. They don't even shoot him. He kills himself. Like, what the fuck you mean war? Beast? I thought he was a man. Now he's a beast? Fuck you, movie. Go fuck yourself. So, I recommend watching the first movie for shits and giggles. For the second movie, just stay far, far away.